Hello everyone, I'm Alexandria, and for my oral presentation, I decided to talk about the character Dersu Uzala from the film Dersu Uzala. The reason why I've chosen Dersu is because I really enjoyed the film and everything that Dersu himself represents. And so hopefully I'll be able to kind of give you my insight on how and why I like Dersu and kind of break down my ideas about him as a character, maybe him as an actor, and the reason why the director, made the film. I'm going to start out with a quote that Dersu says in the movie, and he says, "Man is too small to face the vastness of nature." And in my opinion, Dersu is the essence of nature. He is so one with the wild, and he respects, you know, what is around him. I really feel like Dersu himself, you know, if I was stuck in the wild, I would hope that I would run by Dersu because he really understood what it took to live and to survive. And he mentions that there are three powers of Mother Nature: wind, water, and fire. And there's a scene where him and the troops with Captain are sitting around a fire next to the river, and um, you know, they're laughing at Dersu because Dersu says that the river is alive and the fire is alive. And when the fire gets angry, he's mean and destructive, and he burns forests and people die. And the troops just kind of sat there and laughed and didn't really understand that there's a bigger picture to just what is here and now. I also want to mention the relationship between Captain and Dersu. It wasn't of a sexual nature, but more of a loving nature. I really think that the director put these two together and made the relationship that they had work so well is because man's nature is to be friends with other man and just to want that type of relationship where you can confide and you can have um, just a really good relationship where you understand each other. And there's a Dersu says that time has no barrier, and that the value of nature is friendship between man, and that nature is very raw. To be friends with another man in such a raw state and vulnerable state is really intimate. And I'm not meaning a sexual intimacy, but a more um, natural intimacy that occurs between man. I really liked how Dersu didn't let the Western culture get to him that these troops were bringing. He stuck to his roots, and he knew what he knew how to live from what he could gather. And I really think that he distilled that into the captain because once the captain and his troops were done surveying, and he asked Dersu to come live with them, it was really apparent that Dersu was not made to live in civilization. The contrast between Dersu's upbringing versus the captain's upbringing. As for the actor himself that played Dersu, like I was saying, the actor that played Dersu, his name was Maxim Moonzuk, and he did a really good job of portraying what the director, Mr. Arkara Kurosawa, was trying to portray. Just that he wanted um, this man to walk upon these troops and really portray what it was to be a man. Maybe not to be a man, but what it meant to respect the wild and respect nature, and that nature isn't always going to be there. I mean, if you take advantage, of what's around you, there's bound to be consequences. And Dersu knew that, and he was really open to being able to teach Captain and his troops the values that he had and the skills that he had to be able to respect the trees, the grass, even the living that they were among. There was an idea that I had while I was watching this film, and it's basically that nature in its purest form is the aging of man, and you really see that in Dersu, and he's so wise, and he has so much wisdom that he just wants to share it, and um, you just get that feeling that um, Dersu understands he understands what it means to be one with nature, and I really get the feeling that he like I was saying, I really get the feeling that Dersu and the actor that played Dersu really enjoyed that part, because maybe he was, maybe a nature man himself, and he really got to be put into that situation and into that part, and he really, really fulfilled um, what he was after.